So this lesson is on find the money. So after you've made an offer and after the person that you're enrolling has said, yeah, that feels like a yes, then it's time to partner with them. And the way that I think about this is, in the beginning of an enrollment conversation, it often seems like you're on opposite sides of the table. And if they get an inner yes, like, yes, I want to find the money. I want to be enrolled. I want to exchange, right? I want those results and I'm willing to give up what I need to give up to get those results. Then you go around to their side of the table, right? And so instead of being on opposite sides of the table, you're now on the same side of the table. And it's, to me, a bit of a partnering. Like, let me put my arm around you. We're going to find the money. Because there's a belief that the money exists. And if you have that belief, you can help actually transfer that belief to the person that really, really, really wants these results and really needs to invest in order to get these results. There's often a sense of, I don't have the money. And so if you're getting those money objections, there's a very good question to ask, which is, if it weren't for the money, would this be a yes? And if the answer to that question is, yeah, if it weren't for the money, oh, yeah, sure, of course I'd be all in. Which is fascinating because it gives rise to the find the money conversation, and it also gives rise to a deeper understanding and belief. Does this person actually believe that they can get what they want? And if they do believe that, do they understand the law of reciprocity, that they're gonna have to give to receive? You can't get something for nothing. Now, in personal evolution and habit evolution and in this personal growth path, there's great studies. There's excellent research that shows unless you have enough skin in the game to get yourself to the point of no return, you won't grow. You won't change. You won't be able to implement the advice that's given to you. You won't be able to receive the coaching on a transformational level for you to take action, and the actions that you take will get you to better results. You won't be able to take those actions unless you have enough skin in the game, unless you've gotten to the point of no return. All of the courses at Yoga Healer and in Yoga Health Coaching are priced in a way that the people that enroll have skin in the game. We're getting the people to the point of no return. So it's gotta hurt. The investment's gotta hurt. It's gotta catch your attention. You've gotta start trading the things that aren't working in your life for the things that you wanna have work in your life. So in the last conversation around how do you enroll, right? How do you stand in the purpose and enroll? How do you make an offer? We got to the point of they want to do it and they don't think they have the money, or they want to do it and now we need to find the money. And that's where this conversation really begins. Have the embodied experience that the money exists. If you don't think the money exists, you can't help them have the experience that the money exists, right? Like if you're not thriving in health, then it's hard to help somebody else do that. So in the same way with money, if you don't know cellularly in your body that the money exists, that the potential exists for this person to work with you, for this person to pay you, to have enough skin in the game, to have a reciprocal experience, that they get the kind of value that they're investing in, then you got to work on that in yourself right there. You have to start to realize that there is the money in the world, that there's more money in the world every day. We're printing more money globally. The global economy grows and grows and grows. The money exists. That you're living in an abundant, thriving ecosystem where money's changing hands all the time for value. So we'll assume that you can experience that you experience like, oh yeah, the money exists. When I've really, really, really needed something and I've gone after it, and I like how yoga talks about with ekagrata, this one-pointed focus. It's the arrows. That I can make something happen. Because you can transfer that experience to the person in front of you. Okay, so the money exists. Now, let's find the money. So let's find first where we're leaking money, we're leaking energy, we're leaking attention, and maybe we're even leaking time. The first thing I want to do is assess on line items, like line by line. And if I have a pad of paper in front of me, I'll simply start to create line items about where they're wasting money, where the money that they're actually spending is getting them the results they don't want. We'll go back to the example of the person who's overweight, has back pain, is drinking wine at night, and is working a job they don't like. So the wine has an expense. They're paying money for wine that's leaving them feeling depleted in the morning. How much are they spending a week? Let's say they're spending $40 on wine a week. So $40 on wine a week times 4 weeks of the month is 160 times 12, right? And now I'm like, oh my gosh, I just found $1,000. Does it mean they're never going to drink wine again? No. But what I like to inform people of is that, for instance, in Body Thrive, I tend to have a sobering effect on people. People stop drinking as much alcohol once they're in Body Thrive. We find this time and again. Say the person has a weed habit. Say this person has a nicotine habit. Say this person has an internet shopping habit. Say this person has a quick fix, buy the supplement of the week habit. I'm going to want to create line items for all of these investments they are making in themselves that are giving them a negative net return, right? These investments are leaving them worse off. These investments compounded year after year after year after year are creating an enormous deficit. And they feel this deficit in their energy body. They feel this deficit when they look in the mirror. And they're like, I don't like what I'm seeing. There's also all sorts of expenses. What you want to do is see, where is the money going? When the paycheck comes in, right? When the credit card statement comes in, where's that money going? The paycheck comes in, where's the money going out? And that's the first step for me, is just find where we're wasting the money. Now, this is hard because the person will notice that they're very out of integrity with their spending, that their spending does not look like investment at all, that they're spending in a way that's giving them even more of a deficit. When the person in front of you realizes that, sit in it. Don't run away from that. Stay right there. There's the saying that sales is a service. And I strongly believe that sales is a service. When you're grounded and you're able to help the person realize where they're out of integrity with themselves, with what they want, with their spending, with their investing, there's a gravity to the situation. If I can be present, it's the opposite of like, okay, I'll just get in, just take my credit card, right? It's not unconscious. I don't want anyone in any of my courses enrolling in an unconscious way, because what that does is, A, it'll create buyer's remorse. B, it makes them a problem member. They're constantly a problem again and again and again and again because they're in fear, because we didn't do the deeper work of helping them truly find the money, truly find how they want to invest in themselves, truly change their patterns of unconscious spending to conscious investment. And this is a service that I am happy to provide as part of our enrollment process with every single member that enrolls in one of our courses. And if you're learning this Enroll with Soul, you'll want to do the same. It'll save you time in the long run. It'll save you time because this work that's being done on their way in is part of onboarding. You're creating a culture of conscious investment. In many ways, this is part of parenting that wasn't done. The child or the teenager didn't learn how to consciously invest in that which has a positive return on investment. Many of us listening fall into that same boot camp like I did. Like, even though my dad was fantastic with money, he didn't actually pass that on. Money was kept behind closed doors. And I'm slowly and steadily figuring it out at different levels of business. As are you, because you're listening to this video. All right, so we just covered where the money's going out. So it could be internet shopping. If it's internet shopping, where? What's the website? And I'm trying to help them create a connection. If it's Amazon, let's go look and see how much money they spent on Amazon this year. Let's get a month-by-month breakdown. Amazon, it's pretty easy to do that. You just go into past orders and you can scroll through it. It will also you'll be able to quickly do a total on that. Say the person has a shoe fetish and you're going to zappos.com. You're simply downloading how much money did they spend there. Often people will only be spending money on in a few places, but they'll do it repetitively. Okay, now the same thing's true with if we look at processed foods. If we look at dinners out, say they have date night every week. Say every date night they spend $120. So, well, we just found $500 a month, and if we multiply that times 12, we just found $6,000 a year. Are they giving up date night? No. They're giving up the way that they're doing date night. So now if they're in my Body Thrive course, they're probably going to be going on a hike and taking a picnic. They'll be doing things that actually get them out of their box and add more value. Maybe they're going to a museum. Maybe they're helping out at a fundraiser. Maybe they're doing activities together that they believe in, that they really deeply want to do, instead of just doing what everybody else is doing, which is going out to a fancy restaurant and ordering a bottle of wine and doing it that way. Does it mean they'll never do that again? No. No. It just simply means that they're investing in line with how they want to feel. This woman wants to lose 60 pounds. She doesn't want to have 70 extra pounds next year because most people who are gaining weight continue to gain weight. Most people who are sedentary become more sedentary. Most people with joint pain over time have more joint pain over time. Most people with a few things going wrong, it turns into something worse. Autoimmune disease is on the rise because of the breakdown of the nervous system and the breakdown of the immune system. Adrenaline junkies, it's no joke. They're running. The body's piling weight and they can't relax. All right, processed foods. How much are they spending on processed foods? I don't spend much money on processed foods. I buy beets, I buy carrots, I buy celery, right? And yes, I do buy some in phenomenal bread. Go 460 Bakery in Driggs, Idaho. We have phenomenal artisan sourdough, heirloom seed grown bread. I am blessed to have that in my neighborhood. We get that occasionally, right? So I'm not making everything from scratch, but for the most part, our food bill is not very much money because I'm not buying all these processed foods. I'm not eating out much. What starts to happen when people invest in themselves, and that's largely what you are helping people with as you're guiding them through the habits, is they want to prepare their own food. They want to put their energy, their vibration into the food. When you look at cutting a grocery bill like that, what often happens is you've freed up a few $1,000s more a year. At this point, we have a tally, a list-by-list item tally that far exceeds the investment of the program. Okay, now let's look at the other side. The other side is opportunity cost. The opportunity cost for this woman with extra weight, with the back pain, with the joint pain, with this job she doesn't like, is these things get worse over time. So medical bills will go up over time. The use of pharmaceuticals will go up over the time. The number of people that start on one pharmaceutical, fascinating research on this, will take more pharmaceuticals, right? But if you stay away from pharmaceuticals, you tend to always stay away from pharmaceuticals. So we can see this, 1 or 2 prescriptions turns into 3 or 4 prescriptions, turns into increase in medical bills. If we look at productivity, if the person has a job, is there an opportunity cost? If they were at their optimal body weight, if they were at their optimal body energy, would they have a chance for a raise? Would they be more self-confident in themselves and start bidding out to other employers? Could they actually free up some of their mentality to see where they could add more value to an organization and then trade on that value? When that happens year over year, the person's future, as Dan Sullivan would say, is bigger than their past. It's a basic rule of thumb in yoga is you're aiming towards greater and greater freedom of expression, greater freedom of spirit into action. So the opportunity cost is huge. If a person doesn't feel good about themselves, they tend to spend more money. They tend to go into debt for not the right things, not good debt. Not good debt as in a good investment that'll have a return on investment that'll get them out of debt. It tends to be the opposite. They accumulate bad debt, which has more cost over time, more negativity over time. There's a lot of opportunity costs with people in my courses to how their children are being raised. When someone up-levels their habits, it up-levels the habits of the household. It's a slow trickle effect over time. Some households have very rapid improvement over not very much time. And I don't often know how long it'll take. So what is the cost to the children being raised in a household where everyone's out of rhythm, everyone's stressed out, everyone's grabbing packaged food, everyone's overweight, everyone is a little too sedentary for their body? What is the cost of that over time? There's an opportunity cost to that. Why? Because there's an opportunity that not only did your course member get in sync, but the household rhythms start to get more in sync. The children start to get more in sync. Everyone's spending more time outside. Everyone's more physically active. Everyone's learning how to cook and prepare foods. Everyone's learning the importance of hydration and elimination, the most basic stuff we do in Body Thrive. And it totally changes a child's future. It changes the type of mate this child will choose because they're more empowered in their body, they're more thriving and vibrant, therefore they'll be attracted to people who are more thriving and vibrant. If the person knows how to sit in silence from the habits, what'll happen is there'll be a calm and a peace in the household and people will know the value of silence. That, as a skill going decade into decade to the child's life, will totally change how they study, it'll change how they relate, it'll change their experience of being self-centered, literally centered in their self, or svastha in Ayurveda. All right, so job opportunity, family opportunity, personal opportunities in so many ways. Many people in our community go from Body Thrive into Awake Living, which is the Dharma course, the Life Purpose and Action course. Often people quit their jobs. Often people get away from toxic relationships and start investing themselves in very, very growth-oriented, thrive-oriented, and depth-oriented relationships where they can be supported in their unique soul purpose and living into that and becoming more and more skillful, becoming a bigger asset to themselves, to their either self-employer or employer or their community. And it's phenomenal. So the opportunity cost of staying stuck, of not getting in touch with the habits, has these long-term effects. It means they don't start to access living in life with their Dharma. And it can go on and on. What this training is for you to do is start to see it. Start to see the opportunity cost. I look back on my life and I see how I was a bit of a dirt bagger. I was a ski bum when I was in the yoga Ayurvedic path. I interned in Washington, D.C. before moving out west, and I didn't make very much money. I was very thrifty. I knew how to cook, so I always made my own foods. I knew how to shop in thrift stores. I had very, very low overhead. And when I look at where I am now and the kind of income that comes in through Yoga Healer and the growth of this organization, what I see is that most of my core habits keep me from bad investments, keep me from spending money in a way that depletes my body, keep me from spending money in a way that depletes my energy and my resources. And so what I know is living these habits and living on this dharmic path, there's more and more and more and more available, right? And there's less and less and less spending out of alignment. And I've seen this again and again with the yoga health coaches. You need to help your person find the money. If it's a good fit, if they want to do it, buying into any sort of money objection is just an excuse for not being willing to help the person find the money. We have a lot of stories on this. I recommend Adair's podcast, Adair. She's on the podcast, and she was talking about investing in yoga health coaching and how she couldn't find the money until she felt it was an inner yes. Like she really allowed herself to feel how much she wanted to do it. And then she made a conscious decision and said, I'm gonna find a way to do it. And this is critical. In an enrollment conversation, you can ask the person, okay, if you want to do it, let's agree that now you'll find a way. You want to do it, you're in. Now let's find the money. Because what this does is it pivots the mind from thinking, I can't have what I want, to the universe is trying to help me get what I want. Or my spirit is trying to help me get what I want. Or my life is steering me in the right direction. I'm feeling a yes, so there must be a way. Where there's a will, there's a way. And now we've established that there's a will. Now let's find the way. What this does is it opens the mind. So now you have a better question on the table. The question is, where's the money going to come from? Where is the money coming from is even a better question. Where is the money coming from? Now, Adair talks in the podcast about once she asked that question, she looked at her finances and she actually found money that she had allotted for different things. And she had student debt, she shares in the podcast, right? But what she saw was there was actually some resources there. She put it out to her community and someone said, I will give you a loan. And all of a sudden, she had what she needed to begin. And that's really where we want people, is begin, get on, let's go, and let's start to align in a better direction. All right, help your people find the money. Again, this is Kate Stillman with Yoga Healer and Yoga Health Coaching.